Trinity teacher, David Pawson, says, God's created the world. Welcome back. In my last video, we saw how the Trinity faith say, believe and teach, how the word Elohim is plural, meaning more than one, and so supporting the Trinity faith, saying God is more than one. But as we saw, if it were true that Elohim is plural, meaning more than one, that would also mean Elohim God, in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, would say, gods, instead of God. Let's now move to a Trinitarian teacher, David Pawson, who certainly does teach, gods created the world, and not one God, therefore contradicting the Word of God, and contradicting their own Trinity faith.
You will now see, in this video, the clear visible evidence, how Trinitarian teacher David Pawson finally admits there are three gods.
Now it's one. So they become the Pawsons, or whatever. They are one couple. So even Deuteronomy 6 needs to be read more carefully. Now when you say you believe in one God, you are also saying you believe in the only God. One and only. And that is drawn out in the prophet Isaiah, particularly in the latter chapters, where again and again God says, there is no God beside me. He's the only God, as well as the one God. Other countries had many gods, but Judaism had one and only. But there are hints all the way through the Old Testament of plurality in God as against singularity. And there are only hints in the Old Testament which many Jews have not noticed and which other Jews are left perplexed by them. So what are these hints of plurality? One is that when God talks about himself, he calls himself us. And he does that right from the first page of Genesis, when he said, let us make man in our own image. Now, who's he talking to? Some Jews say he must have been talking to the angels, but we're not made in the image of angels. Others say, well, the plural is the plural of majesty, as when Queen Elizabeth gives her Christmas broadcast and says we instead of I. Do you know why she does that? It's because she's speaking on behalf of all the kings and queens we've had. She is now the representative of a long line of people, not just one person. We, the royal lines that have made our monarchy. But that's not true with God. God doesn't do it because of his majesty. He must be doing it because he's more than one. And it's not just in Genesis 1, it's in Genesis 11, where he talks about the Tower of Babel and says, let us go down and see what man is doing. And supremely in the call of Isaiah, in Isaiah chapter 6, whom shall we send and who will go for us? Now that's just one of the hints in the Old Testament that though they believed in one God, there was just a hint that he might be more than one. And Jews have been puzzled by this. Next thing I want to mention is that the word translated God is the Hebrew word Elohim. And the intriguing thing about that is it's a plural word. El is the word for one God. Elohah is the word for two. But Elohim is a word meaning three.
Elohim is the word meaning three, says Mr. Pawson. Is it 3 gods? Is Mr. Pawson saying 3 gods? Hold on and we will find out.
But Elohim is a word meaning 3.
Firstly, this is an incorrect teaching. The word I, and God of Israel, is a singular verb. In the Hebrew Bible, Elohim, when meaning the God of Israel, is mostly grammatically singular. Even in Genesis 1:26, then God said, singular verb, let us make, plural verb, man in our image, after our likeness. Elohim is singular.
To see this original video, please click on the link below. Or see the original video at the end.